right? And I can see one of you has a book, but none of you, right, have read this. Okay, all right, well, that's fine. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to read the essay, and then let's see if there are any questions or anything, because I'd rather you guys just ask me stuff instead of me going on about a book you guys haven't had a chance to read. And I say chance because I'm really hoping you will all read this. So, okay, so chapter 1. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a girl can go from pauper to princess, or princess to pauper in the mere seconds it takes for her to accept a proposal. When Elizabeth Binnett began working at age 20 as the English literature teacher at the British School of Dilibabad, she had thought it would be a temporary solution to the sudden turn of fortune that had seen Mr. Barkat Bart Binnett and Mrs. Khushbu Pinky Binnett and their 5 daughters, Janisba, Elizabeth, Mirizba, Kitiara, and Lady, moved from big city Lahore to backwater Dilibabad. But here she was, 10 years later, 30 years old, and still in the job she'd grown to love despite its challenges. Her new batch of 9th graders was starting Pride and Prejudice, and their first homework had been to rewrite the opening sentence of Jane Austen's novel. Always a fun activity and a good way for her to get to know her students better. After Alice took attendance, she opened a fresh box of multicoloured chalks and invited the girls to share their sentences on the blackboard. The first to jump up was Rosenama, a crusader for duty and decorum, and one of the more trying students. Rosenama deliberately bypassed the coloured chalks for a plain white one, and Alice braced herself for a reimagined sentence and exalting a traditional life. Marriage, children, death. As soon as Rosenama ended, with mere seconds it takes for her to accept a proposal, the class erupted into cheers. For it was true, a ring did possess magical powers to transform into pauper or princess. Rosenama gave a curtsy and, glancing defiantly at Alice, returned to her desk. "Good job," Alice said. "Who wants to go next?" As hands shot up, she looked affectionately at the girls at their wooden desks, their winter uniforms impeccably washed and pressed by dhobis and maids, their long braids, for good girls did not get a boyish cut like Alice's, draped over their books, and she wondered who they'd end up becoming by the end of high school. She recalled herself at their age, an eager to learn, though ultimately naive Miss Know-it-all. "Miss Alice, me," the class clown said, pumping her hand energetically. Alice nodded, and the girls selected a blue chalk and began to write. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a young girl in possession of a pretty face, a fair complexion, a slim figure, and good height is not going to happily settle for a very ugly husband if he doesn't have enough money, unless she has the most incredible bad luck, which my cousin does. The class exploded into laughter, and Alice smiled too. "My cousin's biggest complaint," the girl said, her eyes twinkling, "is that he's so hairy. Miss Alice, how is it fair that girls are expected to wax everywhere, but boys can be as hairy as gorillas?" "Double standards," Alice said. "Oof," Rosenama said. "Which girl wants a moustache and a hairy back? I don't." A chorus of I don'ts filled the room, and Alice was glad to see all the class energized and participating. "I don't either," Alice said complacently, "but the issue is that women don't seem to have a choice that is free from judgment." "Miss Alice," called out a popular girl, "can I go next?" It is unfortunately not a truth universally acknowledged that it is better to be alone than to have fake friendships. As soon as she finished the sentence, the popular girl tossed the pink chalk into the box and glared at another girl across the room. Great, Alice thought, as she told her to sit down. They'd still not made up. Alice was known as the teacher you could go to with any issue and not be busted, and both girls had come to her separately, having quarrelled over whether one could have only one best friend. 10 years ago, Alice would have panicked at such disruptions, but now she barely blinked. Also, being one of 5 sisters had its perks, for it was good preparation for handling classes full of feisty girls. Another student got up and wrote and read, "It is a truth universally acknowledged that every marriage, no matter how good, will have ups and downs." "This class is a wise one," Alice said to the delighted girl. The classroom door creaked open from the December wind, a soft whistling sound that Alice loved. The sky was darkening and rain dug into the school lawn, where, weather permitting, classes were conducted under the sprawling century-old banyan tree, and the girls loved to let loose and play rowdy games of rounders and cricket. Cold air wafted into the room, and Alice wrapped her shawl tightly around herself. She glanced at the clock on the mildewed wall. "We have time for a couple more sentences," and she pointed to a shy girl at the back. The girl took a green chalk and, biting her lip, began to write, It is a truth universally acknowledged that if you are the daughter of rich and generous parents, then you have the luxury to not get married just for security. Wonderful observation, Alice said kindly, for according to Dilipabad's healthy rumour mill, the girl's father's business was currently facing setbacks. But how about the girl earn a good income of her own and secure this freedom for herself? Yes, miss, the girl said quietly as she scuttled back to her chair. Rosnama said, it's Western conditioning to think independent women are better than homemakers. No one said anything about East, West, better or worse, Alice said. Being financially dependent is not a Western idea. The Prophet's wife, Hazrat Khatija, ran her own successful business back in the day, and he was, to begin with, her employee. Rosnama frowned. Have you ever imagined the first sentence? Alice grabbed a yellow chalk and wrote her variation, as she inevitably did every year, ending with the biggest flourish of an exclamation point yet. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single woman in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a husband. How, Alice said, does this gender switch from the original sentence make you feel? Can it possibly be true, or can you see the irony, the absurdity more clearly now? The classroom door was flung open and Tahira, a student, burst in. She apologized for being late, even as she held out her hand, her fingers splayed to display a magnificent 4-carat marquise diamond ring. It happened last night. Complete surprise. Tahira looked excited and nervous. Ammi came into my bedroom and said, put away your homework, you're getting engaged. Miss Alice, they are our family friends and own a textile mill. Okay. So that's for the excerpt. And should I do the essay too?
Yeah.